The torrential rain cascaded down onto the crimson battlefield, where a teenager knelt, weakened, in the pouring rain. At his feet lay countless corpses of comrades and enemies alike. From their lifeless bodies, one could deduce that not long ago, this place witnessed a horrific massacre. The young man now slowly cast his eyes around. The chaotic heap of corpses before him would drive anyone who saw it into madness, yet this youth remained remarkably calm as he surveyed his own accomplishments. The satisfaction in his heart gradually gave way to feelings of weariness and disgust. Suddenly, at this moment, a sound echoed from somewhere, startling him. That sound seemed to reproach someone for their careless actions. It was that very carelessness that allowed this young man to still be alive. The young man looked down beneath his feet with an unbelieving gaze, astonished that the recent battle hadn't wiped out the opposing force. This figure was a giant, several times larger than an average person, with a demeanor resembling that of a demon. Legend referred to him as the giant, a Hayute, who appeared in the Empire 20 days ago, causing unrestrained chaos. The one currently pinned beneath the youth's feet is the last of the trio of giants. He cursed vehemently, as half of the Empire had turned into a graveyard because of this creature. Why haven't you died yet? The giant beneath the youth's feet suddenly mumbled something. Don't worry, it won't be long now, a Hayute will soon return to your side. The young man stared at it with cold determination, calmly responding, that's right, your companions who fell before you are waiting for you. The giant suddenly muttered something, don't worry, it won't be long now, a Hayute will soon return to your side. The young man, with a cold and stoic gaze, calmly replied, all right, your companions who fell before you are waiting for you. The giant appeared surprised upon hearing the term, companions. The youth explained, two names come with you. One turned into a giant hound, bound by long scorching chains. And the other name was permanently sealed by an old man named Lorehen. At this point, the young man couldn't contain his excitement and mocked him, you understand now, right, you foolish creature. The giant confronted him, not hiding the truth, humanity is powerful, those children, for the sake of Tin too, share a common perception. I know that those enemies have all been buried along with him, and this means that powerful beings like you no longer exist. The young man responded, I'm still alive and kicking here, what are you talking about? Just as he was about to thrust his weapon into the giant's eyes, the giant said, don't speak too soon, I know your time is running out. I'm quite amused, but if you had recognized your skills early on and focused on honing them, you could have become a significant obstacle to our aspirations. These words triggered a dark memory in the young man. After a while, he could respond calmly, that's right, even without you, I know my life is miserable, so let it end in silence. The giant's voice remained unyielding in the face of the young man's challenge, you are a great human, you have every right to be proud. But in the end, your world was soon submerged and vanished under the starlight, the giant's voice gradually replaced by the young man's labored breath. With his last ounce of strength, he swung the weapon forcefully down. That strike made the opponent's head roll down to the ground. Even though he had killed him, the young man couldn't find any joy, he didn't know how to confront everything that had happened. Wave after wave of memories rolled back. Along with it, came the images before his eyes. An image from a time before the battle, when he was still a novice among the ranks, a lonely figure in the army. His life changed when comrades stepped into his world. People who accepted him, shared with him, and formed bonds. Life in the military went through joyful days. Everyone charged into numerous battlefields together. However, those beautiful memories ended when, before him now, lay the lifeless bodies of his comrades. Are you all here? You foolish idiots. Why did you all have to be so arrogant, fighting to the death? Thought if I'm strong, you'd all be strong too, huh? You should have known when to run, you foolish bunch. Why, how can the giants resist the strongest sword aura of the Empire? Why is it only my sword that can fend him off? If not for that, a mere foot soldier like me wouldn't have to be on the front lines, and you wouldn't have to die. Saying this, his eyes filled with despair. He had no idea what to do next, surrounded by a dark and gloomy atmosphere. But a voice that appeared now brought light to him. Is anyone there? I'm injured and can't move. The bewildered young man searched for the origin of the sound. This voice. Is she still alive? The voice continued. Is anyone there? Encouraged, the young man struggled to stand up. Hope crept into his heart. She is still alive. Trembling, he gritted his teeth and moved towards her. Not long after, he finally saw the other person. The moment he truly saw her, still breathing, the young man was overjoyed. So, the commander is still alive. However, upon seeing the wounds on her body, the young man was horrified. The brave and beautiful girl was looking at him with an arm completely lost. This person was none other. After a while, the young man could finally calm the horror in his heart. He showed a genuine smile and teased her. What happened to our talented leader like this? The commander wasn't angered by his words. Her attitude remained entirely natural. After all, you're just a private. You're not that strong yourself. More importantly, Ahayute, are they dead, Ronan? After hearing her question, he admitted that he was the one who killed him, and the opponent's body is nearby. Adishan also paused after hearing this information. Although his words were calm, she couldn't hold back her tears. He's gone. Thank you so much, Private Ronan. Faced with her words, Ronan didn't know how to respond. He turned to tease, if you're so grateful to me, can you fulfill one of my requests? Adishan, curious about his request, asked what it was. Ronan continued, handling the bodies of those soldiers from Trungthan, usually according to regulations, their bodies will be burned or discarded, but this time, could you order a more respectful handling of their remains? Adishan, teasing him in return, said, I'm not sure about that, now I'm even more damaged than you, so you better go take care of them yourself, it might be better. Ronan, wanting to explain, was interrupted by a violent coughing fit. His hands stained with blood from the coughing fit. Ronan didn't panic. Instead, he considered it evidence that he was more damaged than Adishan. He spoke calmly, saying that he could die at any moment. Along with that calmness was regret for the days when he only wandered around, not accomplishing much. Now, he was about to descend into the abyss. Adishan listened silently to his lament. As if thinking of something, she asked him what he would want to do if he survived. This question made Ronan burst into laughter. A young, ambitious teenager like him would undoubtedly have many things he wanted to do. However, at the moment, the only thing he could think of was. He just didn't know what it felt like to attend the academy, and Adishan certainly didn't expect this to be his answer. The reason for Ronan's wish came from the words spoken by the giant before. But above all, there was one thing more important that drove him. The last wish of his sister, she wanted him to go to school. At this point, Ronan could only shake his head because that wish could no longer be fulfilled. In just a few minutes, he might be reunited with his family. Seeing him in despair, Adishan tried to console him. When the rain stops, the rescue team will start searching. In response, he sighed deeply, saying that he already told her he was missing. Why did she keep talking? Useless things like that, he said, and at this point, his eyes became melancholic, perhaps because he had no way back or because his purpose for living was no more. Suddenly, the pouring rain on the battlefield stopped, and both were startled. The rain stopped. The first storm has ceased. Before they could comprehend, the ground suddenly shook violently. Both were perplexed, not knowing the cause. The answer came right after. Giant figures appeared in the sky, not just one or two, but countless giants. Their massive bodies, along with the sheer number of them, covered the entire sky. What is happening? Where did they come from? And why are there so many of them? A sense of desperation and helplessness grew stronger. Adishan's body trembled. She couldn't believe the battle was far from over. She had failed 3 times already. At this moment, she clung to one last hope, beyond which she knew nothing. All her current thoughts were abruptly interrupted by Ronan. The commander. What happened to her? You need to control your emotions. Hurry, use your extrasensory powers or whatever to throw me up there. I'll deal with them while you stay on the ground, out of their reach. Then, as Adishan remained motionless, Ronan shouted, don't tell me you're not planning to defeat them. Adishan was utterly surprised by his words. In this situation, he still intended to fight. Ronan had no intention of giving up. He couldn't sit and wait for death. Even if he had to die, he would bring down the wings of these monstrous creatures. His determination startled Adishan, realizing that even in this dire situation, he was not ready to give up. Indeed, he's just like that. If it weren't for him, we wouldn't have come this far. With him, there might be hope for our journey. Adishan regained her determination and approached Ronan, calling his name with a perplexed expression. Ronan thought she might advise him to give up, so he braced himself for discomfort. However, before any criticism was spoken, Ronan found Adishan's eyes close to his, and the atmosphere shifted. This esteemed commander, under the current circumstances, was almost like being on the verge of kissing him. Ronan's thoughts buzzed like bees, and he didn't know what to do other than stiffen up. In this moment, a gem from Adishan's mouth shifted to Ronan. The gem had just flown out when Adishan also collapsed. Ronan, anxious, asked her, what did you finally give me? Adishan explained something, and finally, she whispered into his ear, you need to hone your skills. I'm glad you want to do that too. Ronan completely couldn't understand. Instead, he appeared annoyed. In this situation, she was saying incomprehensible things. Adishan suddenly called his name. She hoped that if they could meet again, he would advise her not to do foolish things and just be content working as a tailor. She had done many things before, but she had never tried that. Hearing her heartfelt words, Ronan could only stand there, unable to react in time. The giant in the sky didn't give them a chance to talk. In his hand, an energy sphere appeared. That lethal energy thing is getting closer and closer to Ronan, its destructive force sweeping across the entire battlefield. Ronan jerks awake and opens his eyes. He recalls the destructive light he was worried about and looks around for Adishan. However, before him now is a lush green meadow. A place without any signs of death, without any giants. The tranquility reaches the point where Ronan can see children playing together. This familiar sight stirs emotions in Ronan. Is it possible that he has returned to his old hometown, Nim Button?